This is Urdizzle back after taking a few days off. I decided to take a break from the grind and play a little bit of real disc golf outside. So my bag for the daily ending on June 28th is my standard bag with the Fuse River Musket all accurate windbreak, my Wind Glide recoil, my Light Glide ballista, and of course the Skip Glide ballista. All right, hole one. We got a little windswept crosswind of 3. This is just a little musket. And this is not an easy shot because any wind 3, 4, or 5 is going to give you those little weird air bounces. So that one took me a few to get, but not too bad. And then hole 2, one of the harder par 3s according to the ratings in the game. I throw my river and it's just banged off the front of the basket. That would have been a nice double. And I did not really grind for this one. I played for about 20-25 minutes, ran through it a couple times. So you guys are actually going to see 2 rounds that are going to be the same score. So hole 3 here, I'm just throwing a musket. I'm not running that one. That one's a pain to try to ace run. So again, this is going to be a little bonus coverage, 2 rounds of the same score. You guys can see some of the similarities. But again, I just kept my standard bag. I didn't grind. I didn't swap out any discs. I just kind of rolled with it. Hole 4, we switch over to Oak Hill, so you know you're going to get a bunch of par 4s that you're probably going to have to get. And this one, I like the glide skip on this. I can usually get within 100 to 120. And depending on the wind, so this is 87, so that's actually much closer than I was normally getting and almost leaked out to the right. So I think that's kind of a challenging par 4 to get, but hole 5 is actually, I think, even harder now without the roller in the 912 update, and that was just an awful shot. Jeez. God, I don't even know what to say about that one. The roller made this hole much easier, so without the roller, it's a little more challenging. So 173 feet here. If you've watched my videos, I'm going to throw my forehand fuse, which usually is pretty lethal for me. And so I really thought right there I had it. So close. Right off the top. So that was a little disappointing not to get that one because I thought I had it. So hit the basket on back-to-back holes. So at this point, I'm not really expecting a hot round. But again, at this point, I'm not really grinding daily tournaments anymore. If I get a good score, I get it. If not, no biggie. I've done my time on those. So hole 6, the Mando hole, pretty standard light glide ballista, throw it down there. My biggest problem with the 2 wind is fading too far out to the right. So I was able to get 2 of the 3 Oak Hill par 4s. Wish I would have gotten that middle one. Hole 7, we switch over to Blueberry, so you know you're probably going to have to ace run a few of these. So this is my river, and I'd been giving this one a pretty good run for the most part in 912. I think the flight changed a little bit with the river, so I've not been as close in this 926 update. So I've aced it a few times, but definitely not with the consistency I was doing before. So hole 8, this is also a pretty tricky hole in 1, but there's a spot where if you kind of aim over to the right with a musket, you can kind of get it to fade back, and just hung it a little too far right, and it caught the branches and dropped down. So that's a nice part about that type of shot. If you make it, you give it an ace run. If you miss, it's going to clip the branches and slide there. So, which goes into hole 9, which forehand, again, I love my forehand fuse and need to ace this one. And surprisingly, this one has been giving me problems lately, but I was able to hit it on this round, so I was pretty happy with that one. So that finishes off a round of 17 or 13 under, and that is second place. So the lead group is at a 16. And so I jumped into a second round. This is not back-to-back. This was about 5 minutes after. So I think I played a round in between the first one and this one. And again, I only spent about 20 minutes. So hole 1 I was getting every 7 to 10 shots. So I was giving it a pretty good run. This one I'd really, really like the river to fly like it did in the 912 update so I could give it a good run, but it just wasn't quite there. Even when it's online like it is the first round, it's just a little too short with that wind. So 58 feet, I'm putting, of course. And I'm not really worried about the water behind it. If you throw it correctly, it's going in. So back to hole 3. Again, I'm not ace running this. I could probably try to throw a recoil if I really wanted to try to grind for the ace. It's just, again, it's just not worth my time. So I'm just going to take my birdie and get out of there and hope good stuff happens on the next few holes. So I'm going to switch over to Oak Hill. And again, if I really want a shot at this, I've got to eagle all three. And so hole 4, I'm going to be using the glide skip. And I really want to avoid that little valley right there. Oh, and I got a good skip out of it. But that is not a good place to be. And I got lucky and made it past the tree in the bush there. So that was fortunate. And this hole is slightly uphill. So I made that one, but I normally do not do a good job from over on that side of hitting that. Just not an easy shot. But it's still easier than this one. Again, I left myself 170 last round, so this one is much more what I'm aiming for. And so right about there, I mean, that's just prime position, 108 feet. But that 3 cross one, you just never know what it's going to do. And so when I let go of this one, I thought that was perfect. And it just chained out. Again, I had a round in between these two where I threw that exact same shot and the disc missed to the right. So I thought that was the correct adjustment. It just didn't work. So I missed it again. And then hole 6, I actually kind of messed this one up a little bit. So I wanted that to go further. So that's what I was talking about. If you mess up, it's going to swing way out wide. So I'm 105 feet, 2 headwind. And I know I went pretty fast on that, but I think I was a little frustrated from the hole 5 chaining out, knowing that I'd need probably double hole-in-ones here. So hole 7, again, the river's just not quite the disc anymore for this. But as I threw this one, I thought there was a chance. And off the freaking top. I mean, between the 170-foot forehand fuse the first round and off the top there, I thought I had a shot at it. So now I'm stuck in a situation where if I want to get a 16 on this one, I'm going to have to ace 2 out of these next 3. So this one, again, I messed it up. Not an easy one to get a hole-in-one on, but I was hoping I'd at least give it a decent run. So right back to where it was, hole 9. If I get a hole-in-one on this, I've got another 17, which again is 1 shot off the lead. So aim somewhere over here, forehand fuse, and of course I hit it again. So first round, I left that par 5 a little high. The second round, I left the par 5 to the left, and I also missed the ace run on 7. So the 16 is there. Again, I just don't have it in me to grind, but the 4 guys up there, congrats to them for getting the 16. It's definitely there, and good shooting. So that's one thing I'll be toning back a little on the dailies. I just don't feel like spending the time trying to grind for the 14, 15, 16 under, but hopefully you can see it's definitely there from the shots I had out there. If you can just get either one of the par, or get the middle par 4 that I had missed, or throw another hole-in-one in there other than the last. So I did end up finishing 5th, so those 4 guys ended up with a 16, so kudos to them, and hopefully you guys enjoyed me being back for another daily.